Hi guys, welcome back to Creative Frenzy. Today I wanted to do some loose lines on my gel plate prints. I did recently get a larger gel plate, so that made me very happy, but it also meant I needed better storage. So my 5x7 gel plate prints just go in this book cover. This is how I've stored them so far. I find it easiest to place on a shelf, and it looks a little bit more, I don't know, library-ish instead of junky, you know what I mean? So some people store them in boxes. I used to store them in baskets. That's usually where my leftover pieces go. But I just had these book covers left over, and I was going to put a junk journal into this one, but I decided to use it for my smaller gel plate prints because it fits perfectly. Because I trim off the edges, and then I can use these in collage or gel plate journals, whatever I feel like doing. So this fit perfectly in this. I just added this elastic to it so that I could keep it closed so nothing will fall out, and it sits nicely on a shelf. So it's quite pretty. You know, instead of having everything bright colors, sometimes it's nice to have neutral. This one is for my large jelly plate prints. It's an 8x10, I believe. Yes, 8x10. This is a Atlantic Canada. It was one of those coffee books. I got it at a thrift store, and I changed, I took out all the pictures because I wanted to use it for my other collage journal that I have going. And in this one, this is how I store them. So I did use a lot of my gel plate prints on the inside to just decorate it, to make it for this. If eventually I want to put a junk journal in here, I obviously could. But I had these envelopes, or not envelopes, whatchamacallits? Folders. That's the word. File folders. They're by Pendaflex. They're divided up. I got it at the thrift store. Again, it was a pack of whatever, pack of 12. And you have 4 tabs per folder, so I thought it was kind of nice to be able to separate my gel prints that way. Some people just put them in a box or another folder. You don't have to use these, obviously. I just, I was a little bit OCD, and I just separated it further just to have fun with it. And I wanted to take some of my prints and do a loose burlap, either gold or black, swoosh lines onto them. I don't always like to print things. I like something a little bit looser, so I don't have a whole lot of things to do today. I'm just filming a bunch of videos, so I thought this would be fun to show you how I store mine, and how I just separate them. So sometimes they stick a little bit because, well, it's paint. It does what it does. So I thought I'd take some of these more plainer ones and use them as my pieces to use today. Again, some of these already have prints on them. I've separated them out as much as I could. So I thought these would be kind of cool. They're very soft, I guess you would say. They're very soft looking. So I didn't have a whole lot. This one is a bit more, but this one's a lot less paint on them. So it has a softer, more landscape look, which I thought was kind of cool. So I don't think I'll be using those because I have another idea for that. But see how these divided folders just work nicely for, keeping things separate. I might use this one because I do like all the circles on this. I like the stripes on that one. It has a slight glitter to it. I do like this one. I think this one would look nice with some black on it. Again, you can separate your papers. You can keep them all together. You do you. Whatever fun way you have of storing your papers. You can absolutely see how this didn't quite turn out the way I'd hoped, but this would be good for some extra work. This one's very, very bright, but I think some black on that would be really pretty. Sometimes I just do the first pulls and then I just leave the rest until later. I come back to it and find other things to do with it. So I thought today I would just show you how my process works. I sort of have to be in the mood for certain things. I really love this color, this sort of sorbet color. It's really cool. So this pattern I just made with toilet paper roll, or actually it's not even toilet paper roll, this is like a wrapping paper. Maybe it was even aluminum foil. I just put some elastics on it, and then when it's on the plate, before I pull it, I just roll this through and I press hard so that these blank spaces show up on here in different ways, which I thought was really cool. It's a really neat effect. So I thought that would be fun to play with. And just make some extra pieces. Some purples. In my gel plate prints, I really like bright colors for some weird reason. It just seems to work out that way, which is a lot of fun. So when I do my art collage pages in my art junk journal, it's a more interesting look. Again, same deal as the other book. I just put a couple of grommets in, fed the elastic through, and this is just a push pin or split pin really, or a brad I guess you could call it, but it's the larger, the older office style, so I thought it'd be kind of cool. Again, it looks a little bit nicer on a shelf. It doesn't look too in your face kind of thing. So it's nice to be able to store it, which is what I like about it. So I have a few here that I want to work on. And I have a hanging drying rack. It's like it's supposed to be for pictures, like a mobile, but I use it for all my wet paper. So I thought it'd be fun to just do some of these and then just let them dry, and then I can make another art journal page with it. Let's see. We shall want some black and some golds. So here we have black. We could do white too if we want it. Maybe we'll do a little bit of white. So black and white, and then where's my gold? There it is. I have too much left of this one. Let's see. I should probably keep my metallics separate. It'll be easier to find since I do use them separately quite often. Now I can't find the darn thing, which is really annoying. Alright, well, let's hope for the best in this, see if there's anything left in that. We'll just store it upside down for a little bit. So, again, burlap brushes. Burlap ribbon you can get at the dollar store. I just roll it and I tied some wire around it just to keep it nice and snug. And I just kept some of them looser than others. So, it's just a lot of fun to play with. You could use any old brush if you really wanted to, which would be a lot of fun also. But I think in this case, we are going to go with black first, I think. There's a lot of white on here already. Let's turn it sideways so you can actually see properly. What I do like about this, adding the looser lines, is that you can go over the edges. So let's say you have a smaller gel plate, you know, which I obviously do. It's kind of nice to be able to go over the line so you have a little bit more of the paper to use. Normally I would trim this, but I thought, you know, why trim it if we can just sort of Go like that. And it's very subtle. And very loose. You could use some twigs tied together. You know, some leaves, whatever you felt like. And just have fun with it. But it just sort of breaks up that purple a bit. So if you wanted to do something a bit more loose, you obviously could. So it's a little bit more fun to do it that way. Let's see. I still want to add the gold. Only because I like the shine of it. So when you're looking at it in an art journal, you can really notice the difference in the lighting, which is really cool. All right. You could use silver. That'd be cool. I find the metallics just really show up nicely. And go off the page, because these little bits of trim and what else, it is a lot of fun to sort of discover when you break it down. You don't have to use you know, stamps or anything. But now when you look at it and you go to break it down, just like a small piece of it, you really notice more of the colors itself instead of just the shapes, which is what I like about this. So I'm going to hang that up to dry. You could use your fingers for this too if you wanted a bolder line, which would be really neat. And just have fun with it. I find this very relaxing. Remember to go over the edge, because sometimes those little edges can really make a big difference in the project. It's that little bit of gold on the edge of a page or something like that can really make an interesting element, design element in your pages, so which is a lot of fun. And you can mix your metals. You could use silver, you can use bronze if you have it. Any metallic will do. You could obviously use your pastes and things like that, but see how much more interesting that looks. I could add black to this. I'm not going to, because I kind of like the lighter. So I think what I'll do is I'll use some white. I don't think I've ever done it in white before. I've done it in silver and pink. That one's a bit crusty. So we'll use the silver one. So if you wanted to cut back some of those lines, there's a little bit of black mixed in. Sometimes that's okay. You could also use any contrasting color. I just wanted to use something a bit more, I don't know, lighter. Let's put it that way. Let's see. So I really like this one. I love the color, and I think the gold would look really, really pretty. Reminds me of summer. Make sure you protect your work surface because you're going to go off the page, obviously. and make a mess. I tend to work in circles because you get the fuller motion of your brush. See how that really just, that looks yummy, doesn't it? It's so pretty. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. It must be, yeah. I just really enjoy that. That would be great for a summer page or, you know, anything really. Okay, so here there's quite a bit of paint on here. So what I'll do is I will start with the white just to help sort of dull it down a bit. Again, if you didn't want to mix any of your paints, obviously, you know, have more space between your black and your white so that you can keep them separate until it dries, and then you can add the one over top of the other. The more paint you have, obviously, the more you're going to see. And this automatically just makes it more interesting, I find anyway. And then, you know, you have those lovely loose brush strokes. You can let that dry and you can come back with another color if you want, because that way the white will stay a little bit more white, and then you'll have brighter, more vibrant colors over top of it. And if you wanted to, you could add some more of the gold. I really need to find my other paint. Alright, you know what, I'm going to go this way. So I tend to want to use just about every, whoops, whoa, I better be doing a lot of pages, every drop. So when you get to the end of your paint and you only have a little bit left or nothing will come out, just add water, and then you could use it as a wash that I use like a watercolor, which is a lot of fun. All right. That's an awful lot of paint. That's okay. We need to do a bunch more pages. So some of this will splotch, which is okay, because it'll have more interesting effects. I just, it looks so good. So let's see, what else have we got? So I have this one. Again, white would look really good on top of this, but there's quite a bit of white already. So I think in this case, we're going to contrast it a bit more. We could use a green if we wanted to, but I kind of like being able to switch things up and just play. And, you know, not all your prints will work out the way you hope, which is alright. Just make sure you keep going off the edges. Turn your paper every now and then, just so you can get a real feel of how it looks, because that can sometimes make a difference in how you view your final piece. I'm going to add some gold because I have tons of it here. I like stencils and things like that, but I think it's more fun to sort of create your own. Stencils have their place in the craft room, obviously. And, you know, when you're painting, it's more fun to have a little bit more of a looser interpretation of a shape. see. Yeah, this one looked nice with gold too. Metallics just really make a nice change from just the regular paint. You can use the paper as is or break it down, whatever you felt like doing. Just hold it in the light so you can sort of guess and see where all your colors are. So in this case, let's add a little bit of black over top of the gold, because I think it'll add you don't have to go circles, you can just do swirly lines. See, it just looks more interesting. I don't know. That's a lot more fun. Alright, it's just a few more. Couple more anyway. Alright, so again, I'm going to use the gold. Could use silver, obviously. Alright, let's put a bit of gold on there. So in this case, I'm going to add some white to it. Teal just asks for a lighter color, I think. Unless it was a darker teal, I think that would be pretty too, with a lighter color over top. Definitely do not have to go in circles. You can just do stripes. You know, play with your handmade brush and see what shapes you like. So maybe only like stripes. So we could do stripes in one color. Oh, I went through the black again. Just be careful you don't muddy up the waters there, because that would really irritate me if I were to add too many colors that I don't want to it. You could do hot pink, that'd be pretty. Actually, I think I'll do that, because I think it'll be an interesting look. Let's see, hot pink. I do have, oh my goodness, so I have these neon colors. I don't usually use them for this kind of thing, but I think it'd be fun to experiment. It's just paint and paper, so it's fun to experiment with something different. Let's see if I can get some of this apart. Some of this paint is not allowing you to move your just cut it off. It gives you a little bit of fresher variety of burlap to use. There we go, that's a little bit easier. Hot pink, here we go, or neon pink, I guess. It is fun to use though. And the gold and the hot pink. Sometimes you need a little bit of neon. So that's a lot of fun. I like that. Turned out well. So when you use this in the smaller portion, you just have that little bit of extra. That looks more fun. There. I think that'll do. So again, you know, these burlap brushes are very easy to make yourself. You can use an elastic on them. You can use wire. I just had some copper wire left over. And the burlap ribbon I got at the dollar store. Dollarama, I believe. But you can get it just about anywhere. Just about any craft store. So let's clean up some of this mess we got going. That is a lot of gold to waste. So I think what I'll do is I'll do some of these smaller ones too. Let's see. I also do my gel prints on some packing paper, which is really pretty because they have the wrinkles. Before I put them onto the plate, I put wrinkles in them, extra wrinkles. I mean, you know, the packing paper, so they're already beaten up, but it's a lot of fun to play with. So just to add a little bit of something. I'm not even going to bother separating these. You don't even have to go in circles. You could just go across the surface all willy-nilly. And that just adds a little bit more dimension. Okay, I think we're good now. We can set those aside for now. Let's clean up this mess we got going on here. As much fun as this is, the mess I do not appreciate sometimes, but that's okay. If you watch me cleaning up and you don't appreciate the length of time you have to spend doing that, feel free to fast forward. It's okay by me. There we go. Get these papers down, they're more or less dry, and then I can show you what we have. Alright, let's see here. So, this is the last one we did with some neon and gold. It turned out really pretty. So when you get closer to it, it has some really interesting striations because of the handmade paintbrush, right? So there's that one. So I'm going to set that one aside because it's still pretty wet. So here's the one that didn't quite work out, but you can still see the print on the background. And the black and the gold look really pretty on top of that really bright yellow. So that is cool. And here is white and gold. Oh, here's the really pretty gold. This is very like super gold, which is okay, you know, depending on what application you use it for. And here's some purple, some more purple, and then these two colors are my favorite. So there you have it. Just some simple addition of metallics and black and white and some handmade paintbrushes can really make a difference to a gel print. So anyway, there we have it. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We're all in this together, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.